Every sales professional has one aim: close more sales. Because without sales, growth stagnates, and this is not going to bode well for your organization's bottom line. It's not going to bode well for putting money in your pocket, in your big fat commission checks every single month. And while securing sales is no easy feat, finding a sales framework, a sales process that can be rinsed and repeated to ensure scalable, predictable, and measurable growth is what you should be aiming to do. In fact, to be at the top of your selling game, you need a scalable sales model, a proven methodology that best represents your product, value, and goals in the market. But there are tons of different training methodologies. There are tons of sales philosophies out there. So which selling method is best for you? Well, hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to understand the perfect selling framework, methodology, sales philosophy for you. It's going to be a perfect fit and it's going to skyrocket your selling win rate. Hi, my name is Will Barron, founder over at Salesman.org, where we make selling simple. If you want more information on these different sales methodologies, click the link below this video. Check out the blog post where we go into all this in more detail. Okay, first up, we have spin selling. Neil Ratkin popularized the spin selling philosophy in his best-selling book from decades ago, also named Spin Selling. It's one of the oldest selling methodologies, and it's still in practice today, despite the fact that decades have passed since spin selling was first published in book form. It's pretty relevant and it's pretty reliable in today's B2B world. If you're not familiar, SPIN is an acronym of the 4 elements your sales questions should resolve around: situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. Each of these 4 elements will help you uncover your prospect's pain points, their challenges, and it's going to make it easier for you to establish solid rapport and then do deals with them. The spin selling model involves asking the following. Situation questions are centered around understanding the prospect's current situation. Then we have problem questions, and these get to the heart of the prospect's problems. Implication questions that probe the prospect to think about the consequences of not solving the problem that you just outlined. And then finally, we have need payoff questions that encourage the prospect to consider how the situation would change after solving this issue. That is spin selling in a nutshell. Next up, we have what's called customer-centric selling. And no shocker here, customer-centric selling puts convenience, challenges, and the goals of the customer at the forefront, as it probably should be with all of these methodologies. This sales model focuses on the customer experience and using it to distinguish your brand from the competition. It encourages you to have meaningful conversations with prospects, to understand their needs and their pain points and offer appropriate solutions. They love that word in this methodology, appropriate. So instead of making presentations, you're going to have relevant conversations about how your solution can be modified to better suit the client's requirements. The customer-centric selling sales philosophy involves targeting critical decision makers, asking questions to understand their situation, aligning their needs with relevant solutions, and pitching your solution on the back of all the information that you've collected from these previous elements. Next up, number 3, we have target account selling. The target account selling philosophy focuses on selling to a select few target accounts per sales rep rather than targeting a ton of prospects with a lot less focus. Following this sales philosophy, you're going to select a specific number of clients who match your ideal customer persona or ideal customer profile, and you're going to get to know their portfolios, their products, their customers' everything in more detail, allowing you to build and nurture a really strong relationship with the prospect before you even get to the point of doing business with them. Target account selling can be a good fit for you if you work with large enterprise sales accounts, and perhaps you've got longer sales cycles and you're dealing with specific total addressable markets. And this sales method, this sales philosophy clearly isn't right for broad markets or small ticket items. This is for clients with high value, complex deal sizes. This is what I used to do when I worked in medical device sales. The target account selling philosophy includes understanding what's happening within the account. This is account intelligence. What's happening in the market. This is market intelligence. Who your competitors are and what they're doing, which is competitive intelligence. What information you can find out through your research. This is primary research. What your final selling strategy is going to be based on. And this is called go-to-market research. and you're going to hear a lot about GTM in some future videos here in the Salesman.org channel. So make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss them. Next up, sales philosophy number 4, we have N.E.A.T selling, N-E-A-T selling. N.E.A.T selling is primarily a qualification process developed by the Harris Consulting Group and my friend Richard Harris over there. And it's a more flexible and adaptable alternative to the traditional BANT qualification methods and the ANUM and all these different acronyms that we've covered on this show before. Let's break it down. N-E-A-T stands for needs. What are your prospects' core needs? Next, economic impact. What are the financial impact of those needs? Then, access to authority. Who can give you access to your targeted organization's key decision makers? Then we have timeline. So what is the general timeline for making a decision? Even better, is there a compelling deadline, or is there an event that can urge a decision to happen faster? The N.E.A.T sales philosophy was intended to be a flexible guide to help you ask the right qualifying questions as they naturally evolve and come out in conversations. Sales philosophy number 5 is MEDDIC. Yes, more acronyms. The sales training industry friggin' loves acronyms. So the MEDDIC sales philosophy was the brainchild of Dick Dunkel and Jack Napoli when they were at the PTC Corporation back in the early 90s. They developed the sales framework for complex enterprise-level B2B deals to help them and their teams and the organization qualify leads by finding the answers to 6 critical selling questions. First off, metrics. What is the economic impact of the solution that you're selling? Next, the economic buyer. Who controls the appropriate budget? Who has the profit? Who has the responsibility for getting the deal done? Then we have decision criteria. What formal evaluation criteria does the prospect's organization use when picking a vendor? Then decision process. What is the buying process like at your prospect's organization? Next, we're going to identify pain. What are your prospect's main targets and objectives right now? Then we've got to find the champion. Who is the best person on your team to sell the prospect? MEDDIC is one of the more disciplined, technology-driven, and tightly controlled sales philosophies. It forces you to focus on where the sales are more likely to take place rather than how to make the sale. It's putting you in the right position to get deals done as opposed to teaching you how to manipulate and push and pull and influence others. It also establishes quantitative standards through metrics and other relevant data. It forces you to search and nurture a champion within the account, essentially someone to advocate for your product or service as well, which is incredibly important in complex, longer deal cycle B2B sales. If you like this idea of MEDDIC, there's an even more advanced and I think better process called MEDDPICC. Metrics, decision criteria, decision process, paper process, identify pain, champion, and competition. There's a few more steps in there than just in MEDDIC alone. And I've covered this in more detail in a separate video, and you can find that video linked below this one. So we're really rocking and rolling now. Let's cover the 6th sales philosophy, and that is the Sandler System. So if convincing your prospect to close deals feels like ice skating uphill, then you should definitely try the Sandler philosophy. The Sandler methodology challenges the traditional norm of the seller trying to convince and pursue prospects. It states that both parties, the prospect and the seller, must be equally as invested into the deal if it's ever going to happen. The first step in the Sandler system is to uncover the prospect's needs and then customize your sales pitch based on those needs very specifically. So instead of behaving like a traditional old school B2B sales rep, you're going to become a trusted advisor to your prospect. You're going to add value to them in the conversations that you're going to have by asking questions to identify challenges in the qualification process. And there's lots of emphasis on relationship building, lead qualification, and deal closing skills as well. The steps of the Sandler selling system include building rapport and establishing roles and expectations with the buyer, knowing the prospect's needs and pain points, understanding if the prospect has the budget to fix the problem, finding the prospect's decision-making process before you propose your product as a solution, and then, of course, like with all these methodologies, we've got to close the sale. Coming in at number 7 is the challenger sale methodology. So this sales philosophy focuses on one of the 5 personalities that sellers typically have, and we call it the challenger personality. So as a challenger, you likely have a unique view of the world. You're ready to put in the necessary work to understand your prospect's business and needs, and you probably love a good debate. This aptly describes how I am personality-wise and how I sell as well. But even if you're one of the other 4 sales personalities of the hard worker, the lone wolf, the problem solver, or the relationship builder, you can always learn to become a challenger in your sales role. Challengers tend to follow a teach, tailor, take control process in their sales methodology. And this includes teaching your prospects about significant business problems, new ideas, and any astute observations you have about the market, tailoring your communication according to the prospect's wants, needs, and desires, then taking control of the sale. This is what separates a challenger from everyone else, taking control of the sale by not being afraid to push back on the customer. The challenger's focus is on achieving the customer's end goals rather than being liked by your customers. This is how I sell, and this is how we teach you to sell with authority, with expertise in the Selling Made Simple Academy, which you can find over at salesman.org. And last but not least, the final selling philosophy that we're going to cover in this video is solution selling. Now, solution selling is a popular sales philosophy created by Michael Bosworth in 1988. I was 2 when this sales philosophy was created. And it does away with this product-centric approach, and instead it focuses on the benefits, impact, and the relevance of a tailored solution that you can provide to your customer. It's about solutions rather than my widget does X, Y, Z, and you can get it in yellow or blue. The premise here is simple. Sell the benefits, sell the effects, not the features of your product. This sales methodology encourages you to focus on the unique benefits of your product. But before all that, you have to ask the right questions. You've got to understand the main problem that your prospect is facing and come up with an effective solution for them. So a typical sales funnel when you're using this sales philosophy might look like, hey, we find the prospect. We identify a potential buyer who would make a good fit for our solution. We qualify this prospect. We evaluate whether the decision-making process fits your own sales cycle. Next, we use discovery. So we find the prospect's specific needs. Next, we add value. We set up meetings with key decision makers where you're going to position yourself as the champion, as the expert, as the person who has the solution to all of their issues. We're going to share a customized solution that emphasizes return on investment, that emphasizes the benefits that the customer is going to get. And of course, we're going to close the deal and it's going to be mutually beneficial for everyone. There is one final sales methodology that I've not covered in this video, and this is the Selling Made Simple Academy way of doing things. We break down the sales process into 33 different frameworks, step-by-step guides that help you reach success fast. And if you want to learn how this sales philosophy has worked for over 2,000 students that have been through our program over the past couple of years, then head over to salesman.org and check out the content today. So there we have it, another video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, why not click the video that's on the screen right now and continue your own sales education.